Hello, amazing artists, and welcome back to Art Class with Mr. Mazer. This week, we are going to be reading the story Lines That Wiggle by Candace Whitman. And we're going to be making some art using the element of line. So let's read the story, shall we? Lines That Wiggle. Lines that wiggle, lines that bend. Wavy lines from end to end. Lines that tickle, lines that sprout. Bugs have lines that stick right out. Lines to trap, lines to hide. Two lines running side by side. Lines that curve, lines that curl. Underwater lines that swirl. Lines that crisscross, lines that mend. Lines with doggies at the end. Lines that scurry, lines in threes. Lines in leaves that grow on trees. Lines that twist, lines that sway. Lines that swish the flies away. Zigzag lines light up the sky. Rainbow lines are way up high. Lines are everywhere you look. Find some lines not in this book. And boys and girls, you can see if you go looking outside, you could see lines that are in leaves, like over here. You can find lines that are in people's faces. You can find lines that are in the road. Lines that go from street poles. So lines are everywhere we look. So this week, we're going to be making some artwork using the art element of line. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper. Now in class, we are going to start by writing our name on the back. We always want to make sure our name is on the back so that we get our artwork back, so it doesn't get lost. So I'm going to flip that right over. Now we're going to use some black paint and a little piece of cardboard. So if you don't have black paint at home, I'm going to show you a couple different substitutions that you could use at home. But first we're going to take our little piece of cardboard and we're going to dip it into that black paint. We want to make sure we get the whole side covered. We want to make sure we're keeping our hand on the other side so that we're not getting our hands super dirty. So I'm going to make some lines on my paper. Now I can make vertical lines. These are lines that go straight up and down like this. And one dip in the paint should let me get at least a few lines. So there's my vertical lines straight up and down. I can see when they start to get light that I need to re-dip my cardboard back in the paint. Now, I could also make lines that go straight across from left to right. Those lines are called horizontal lines. Horizontal lines go across like this. And I can also make diagonal lines. Diagonal lines go like this at an angle. Now, if I wanted to make some lines that connect, I could make a cool zigzag line like this. If I want to make lines that connect, I could do that. But for what we're going to do with these next week, we definitely need to make sure that we have a lot of lines that connect and overlap. Overlap means the lines go over top of each other. So we want to make sure we fill up our page with a lot of those beautiful, interesting lines. Now, how you lay them out is up to you because you are the artist. And our lines could even go off the page a little bit. We could do them all the way up to the edge like that. And that is how we're going to make a beautiful work of art using the element of line. Now, if you don't have paint at home, I'm going to show you a couple different options that you could do. One thing that you could use is some of mom or dad's coffee. You could use some coffee, dip a piece of cardboard in that, and that'll give you a pretty dark line. Or you could use a crayon, a colored pencil, or a marker. And you can draw your lines. So you can practice drawing vertical lines, the ones that go up and down. You can practice drawing horizontal lines that go across. You can practice drawing zigzag lines. Those are the pointing ones that go up and down. You could practice drawing curvy lines. This is something you can't do if you're stamping with the paint. But just like the example that I was doing before, we want to make sure that we have lines all over the page, especially lines that overlap. So make sure that your lines are touching and going all over the page. And you can make big zigzags that turn into little zigzags. You can make your diagonal lines. You can even make swirly, curly lines. So have fun with it, be creative, and make sure your lines overlap. And that is our fun art for the week. See you next time.